Hello, everyone. Welcome to our School Mental Health Mindful Movement series. We will be hosting these movement-based sessions every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us today. This event is brought to you by the National American Indian and Alaska Native Mental Health Technology Transfer Center under the K-12 School Mental Health Supplement Project. We are located at the University of Iowa and a part of the National MHDTC network serving the National American Indian and Alaska Native population across the U.S. and Alaska. We provide TA for tribal communities and schools, as well as having several ongoing initiatives and projects. This project is supported by SAMHSA. The content is developed by the presenter, and the opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect the views or policies of SAMHSA, HHS, or the American Indian and Alaska Native MHTTC. Although we are gathered virtually today, we want to take the time to acknowledge the land and pay respect to the Indigenous nations whose homelands were forcibly taken and inhabited. Please take a moment to read this land acknowledgement, which has been created by 3 members of our team, Ella Driscoll, Keely Driscoll, and Sean Bear. This series is brought to you by the K-12 School Supplement Grant Team. This is Teresa Burrington, our project manager. Her background includes a master's in educational leadership, master's in business administration, and progress toward a master's in counseling. She's an enrolled member of the Coharie tribe and a descendant of the Lumbee tribe. She joins us from the Meskwaki settlement in Tama, Iowa, where she currently resides. Julia Bulwitt is a research associate from the University of Iowa and has been assisting on K-12 projects for the past year. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Ball State University and a master's in clinical mental health counseling from the University of Iowa. Kate Pruce is a graduate research assistant from the University of Iowa and has been with the K-12 initiative since February of 2021. Kate holds a bachelor's degree in child, adult, and family services with a minor in psychology from Iowa State University, and she is currently working on her master's in school counseling at the University of Iowa. This program and many others are offered through our center located in Iowa City, although we serve across the U.S. Here you will find contact information for our program manager, as well as our program guide for our other services and technical assistance request form. Please reach out to us with any interest in these programs. Today we welcome Victoria Marie, Iron Plume Woman. Victoria has worked with our K-12 projects throughout 2021. She has brought her expertise in youth engagement, movement, meditation, and healing through all kinds of medicine. She is an enrolled tribal member of the Sisseton Wahpeton, mother, artist, and founder of Indigenous Lotus. Victoria is joining us today from the Twin Cities in Minnesota and will continue to lead K-12 projects with our center. Welcome, Victoria, and thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Let me just change my view. All right, so we are going to practice full movement today. I don't have a mat. I'll just be using my space. You don't necessarily need a mat, but if you can take off your shoes and socks. It will be a little bit slower, more of a hatha flow, holding into poses and things like that. So let's go ahead and we'll meet just right in the center of our space. Make sure that you have some room. So meeting here and seated, sitting up tall. Hands can be placed anywhere you like, on your knees, in your lap, palms up or down. And before we begin the movement into our poses, we're going to start up with some dynamic stretching. So we're going to take those hands down, circle out the wrist. Bring them all the way up. On the exhale, palms are going to face out to the side. Draw them down. Inhale, arms raise up. Exhale, bring them down. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, bring it into the heart. We're going to gently tuck the chin. Inhale, lifting up. Back to neutral. Let's take those hands back down. Shoulders come back. Go ahead and take them side to side, or take them back one at a time. And create a lot more movement here in the upper body. And rest. So as we sit up tall, our shoulders are down. Bend in the elbows. Let's go ahead and close our eyes. Just want to get out any little extra movement before we become to sitting, focusing on the breath, calming our nervous system, calming our thoughts. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. So full deep belly breaths here. And allow for the belly muscles to just rest and expand. If there's anything weighing on our shoulders, our thoughts, even within our breath, our chest, lower back, our hips, go ahead and set that outside the room. Focusing back on the breath. Hearing, feeling your inhale as it goes through the nostrils, down into the belly, and exhaling, releasing. As we begin our movement, this is where we will come, this place of closing our eyes, breathing in through the nose, into the belly, and exhaling with quiet thoughts. So after a little bit more of our dynamic movement, we go into holding our poses. And this is where we'll come. If there's anything you need to say for yourself, any words you might need today, you can go ahead and say that out loud or say it quietly, whatever you need to hear.
Wow.
Now let's go ahead and take the head over to the right, down and over to the left, from side to side. Chin down. Inhale, head rises. We're going to plant those hands down on our knees, and we're going to press back and forward. So moving with the breath. You've been rocking in your seat as well, from front to back. Now again, we're creating that movement, warming up the muscles, the joints. coming back to sitting. Let's take one hand down. We're going to extend that other out. Inhale, sweep up and over and from side to side. And feel the natural flow of the upper body. So not being so stiff in our movements. We can bend the elbows, the wrists, move those fingers as we flow from side to side. And let's go ahead and plant those hands down. Hands above the knees. We're going to circle forward and back. Again, if you're sitting in chair, this is all still really great. So pressing forward and back. So back into our cat-cow flow. Coming back to center, circling the other direction. And feel that movement all the way down into the hips. All the way up the spine. And back to center. Let's take one leg out, circle that foot out. And switch sides. Bring it back in. Bottom of the feet come together. We're going to hinge at the waist. Hinging at the waist, we're going to align the head and neck with the spine. Inhale, coming back up. Sitting back, we're going to take the feet further than hip width distance apart. So we're more spaced out. Fingertips are facing forward. We're going to take the knees from side to side, and you're going to lift each hip as you move. If we are leaning back here on those palms, lengthen through the arms. So we're not bending down, neutral spine. Back to center. Now we're going to begin our hatha movement. There are two options here. You can flow with as we get into these poses, which will be low lunge, high lunge. We're going to come into a low plank, high plank. We'll also come into standing into our warriors. You can flow into those, or once we get there, you can set your body up for that pose, and I'll cue those. So I'm going to start here on all fours. Excuse me, my tail. So all fours, knees under hips, hip width distance apart. Wrists are under shoulders. My fingers are spread wide. Navel is drawn in for a neutral spine, protecting that lower back. Tuck the big toes only. And the first one we're going to go into here after downward facing dog is going to be low lunge. So go ahead and pedal out the feet. Inhale, right leg rises, hips are squared down to the floor. Step it through all the way to the top. Lower that back knee, untuck the back toes. So that front knee is above front ankle. Here in low lunge, you can stay right here. You can inhale, arms rise up, bring those hands down. You can rest them anywhere you'd like as well. And press into that front heel. If you stepped with your right foot forward, your left hip is pressing forward as well. Now, as we're holding here, we're continuing to breathe. Those moments of pause, I invite you to close your eyes too for a moment, breathing in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose, hearing and feeling your breath. Now, we're going to get into the other side. You can go ahead and switch sides, low lunge with the left foot forward, or you can flow with me, pressing those hips back, draw those toes in towards the chest. Walking it forward, plant those hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, press back downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises, and step it through. Lower the back knee, untuck the back toes. And staying there or sweeping up, bringing those hands wherever you like. At any time, if you need to lower down and come right back into it, do what you need to do. And closing those eyes. Pressing into the front heel. Now we're going to go ahead and get into our high plank. You can flow with me or go ahead and get into it. So if you're flowing with, press those hips back, draw those toes toward the chest. Pressing forward, plant those hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Let's go ahead and step back, high plank. Draw the navel in. Now, there are many options. You can lower one knee down or both. Coming down to a low plank, lower down to forearms. And then all the way down. Extend those arms out. Draw them back in underneath the shoulders, elbows pointed back. Go ahead and press up. Exhale, back down. Now we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to lift up into our high plank. However you need to get there, whether it's with support from your knees, go ahead and press up. Now holding here just for a couple breaths, pressing the floor away. Go ahead and press back, downward facing dog. Now, if you are not going into a downward facing dog, you can go ahead and step right into your high lunge. Inhale, that right leg rises, step it through. Go ahead and keep that back knee lifted. Inhale, rise up. Hands can be placed at your sides, at the heart, pressing into that front knee or the front heel, not the knee. Strong in that back leg. So notice if you kind of dip in, engage the back leg. Option here, because we're standing, you have the option to close the eyes. And lower those hands down. Go ahead and either step back or get into high lunge opposite side. You're in downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, left leg rises, step it through to the top. And inhale, rise. Few more breaths. If your legs ever feel tired, you can always press back without locking that front knee. Get right back into it. Exhale, lower those hands down. Let's go ahead and come down to the knees or come to seated, sitting back. And now we'll come back to all fours. So we're going to go into our warrior two each side. You can flow with me or go up to standing. So if you're flowing with me, all fours, tuck the big toes, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises, step it through. Here we're going to lower that heel down. So lower that heel down behind us. Inhale, cartwheel those arms up. My torso is facing to the side. My arms are extended out, shoulders are lowered down, pressing into that front heel. And my focus is just over those front fingertips. Lengthen through that front leg anytime you need to come out. If extending your arms out are a little bit too much, you can always bring them down. Now, we're going to take those toes, those front toes, bring them off to the side. Now we'll take those back toes and turn them out. Now we'll press into that opposite heel, keeping those legs extended. Now, inhale, arms rise up, lengthen through that front leg, turn those toes out, facing in front of you. We're gonna exhale, forward fold. Walking the hands over to the right. Inhale, right arm rises. Exhale, back to center. And over to the left. Left arm rises. Exhale, release back to center. Now you can stay right here, lengthening through the upper body, or you can lower the head all the way down, taking those hands behind the ankles. And allow the upper body to just hang. Shoulders hang, head. Micro bend in the knees. Now slowly planting our hands back down. You have the option to continue to flow with me to make our way back down, or you can just come to seated. So if you're going to flow with me, let's go ahead and bring those hips over to the right. Those left toes point up. Pressing up, other side. And back up. We're going to do each side, but we're going to include a little bit of a twist. So each side one more time. Lower down. So hips back over to the right. We're going to turn over towards that left foot. Coming back to center. Lift those hips up, opposite side, and turn that heart over towards the right foot. Back to center. Now let's go ahead, lift those hips, plant those hands, and we're going to come down to our knees, sweep the feet around, coming back to seated. We're going to take those arms out in front of us, right hand over left. Take those fingers, bring them down and draw back. Micro bend in the elbows. Go ahead and make a fist, draw back. Opening up, switching sides. Right fingers down. Making a fist. Bring it back. Opening up. Let's go ahead and shake those hands out. Taking the head over to the right. Right fingertips come up towards that left ear. Walking the fingertips back. Chin and cheekbone come down towards the chest. Head rises, chin down. Inhale, chin up. Back to center. Head over to the left. Left hand rises up towards those to the top of the right ear. Walk those fingertips back. Slowly release. Any additional movement you might need here, go ahead and do that before we come to check in with our breath, with our thoughts, with our body. So any additional stretching you might need to do. Now begin to place your hands, palms face up, above your knees or in your lap. Closing your eyes. Checking in with your breath. Checking in with your thoughts. And checking in with your body. No judgment, just observing. Now that sentence that you had said out loud or to yourself, go ahead and say that again. And if that no longer resides with you, you can say anything that you need right now. placing a soft smile on our face, knowing that those words are true. We need them, they nourish us. And as you go on today, say that same sentence or those words into the water you are drinking. And see it and feel it. Let's go ahead and take those hands down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale down to the heart. Bring everything in. Hinging forward, bowing into our space, to one another. Thumbs to center brow. I want to say thank you, Padamya Miigwech, for sharing this time with yourself and with each other. Thank you, everybody.